It's a new year, a new slate of spring sports, and best of all, a new season of Sports Scene.
We have all you need to know about tonight's basketball game versus UCLA and are on the scene in Mobile, Alabama with some Senior Bowl updates. Sports Scene starts now.
Everybody talks about it every single year, every single day. It's bragging rights, you know. King of LA, which one of us is the winner, you know. Usually whoever wins the most is usually the king. So, you know, you just gotta, it means a lot, you know. It's so many rivalries, and this is one of the big ones.
Welcome back into the Annenberg Media Center. I'm Rachel Frayne.
And I'm Alexa Palermo. The USC men's basketball team is looking to string together its second win in a row tonight against crosstown rival UCLA after losing 4 of its last 7 games. USC has struggled offensively as of late, shooting over 40% just once in their last 4 games. Head coach Andy Enfield said he's never seen an entire team go through a shooting slump like this. But Captain Jordan McLaughlin is confident the team will adjust one shot at a time.
You just got to get a couple easy ones for us, you know. We just got to worry about what we got to do. You know, we want to get a couple stops on defense. Our defense will turn to offense. You know, we'll get a couple easy ones in transition, and from there, hopefully the rim gets a little bigger and we knock down shots. Once you see the ball go in a few times, you know, your eyes, they kind of get bigger, you know. You're able to see the rim a little bit better for some reason, and you're just able to knock down shots a lot more than you would normally.
The Trojans arguably face their biggest challenge of the season when they take on the UCLA Bruins tonight. The number 8 ranked Bruins boast a crazy good offense. They're second in the nation in three-pointers and first in assists per game. While they are dominant on one side of the ball, the other does leave a huge opportunity for the Trojans to pull an upset. The UCLA defense ranks 136th in the nation in defensive efficiency. But with all this said, tonight's game will have more implications than just bragging rights around the city. Let's send it to Julia for a look around the Pac.
12 weeks into the college basketball season, the Pac-12 has 3 teams in the AP Top 25 poll. Arizona and Oregon are so far dominating the Pac-12 rankings. Arizona leads the Pac-12 defense, averaging 12 turnovers and 37.8 rebounds per game. Their unstoppable record is also thanks to 7-foot freshman power forward Lauri Markkanen, who is a skilled jump shooter, averaging 17 points per game for the team. The Ducks are matching the Wildcats' success by winning their 16th straight game Saturday to climb to the number 10 spot in AP rankings. However, the team's leading scorer, Dillon Brooks, is still out indefinitely after spraining his left foot last week. The 2 undefeated teams will face off February 4th on the Ducks' home court. The original Pac-12 standout, UCLA, was once second overall in the AP rankings before losing to both Oregon and Arizona. USC comes in tonight at number 6 in the Pac-12. After finishing non-conference play undefeated, the Trojans are 4-4 in conference because of the team-wide shooting drought. In their first 7 conference games, USC only made 39.2% of field goal attempts, which is the worst percentage in the league. Junior guard Jordan McLaughlin touches on the volatility of the Pac-12.
Anybody could win any given night, and it's just tough to win, especially on the road. You know, home court advantage, the fans are yelling at you the whole time, but you just got to make sure you focus and lock in on your task.
After a tough opening stretch of conference play, USC's next 3 games will all be against teams in the bottom half of the conference standings.
Thanks, Julia. We already talked about how dominant UCLA's offense is, but there are a couple key things the Trojans need to look out for. And joining me is Aaron Glazer. Thank you so much for being here.
Anytime, Alexa.
So it doesn't take a leading scorer to make a team successful. Lonzo Ball and TJ Leaf are their 4th and 2nd top scorers. So what's so special about them?
Well, with Lonzo Ball and TJ Leaf, first of all, these guys were famous before they even donned a Bruins uniform. Lonzo Ball was the 4th recruit in the nation by ESPN. TJ Leaf was also in the top 15, and so they were very highly recruited and touted out of high school. And they're pretty dynamic scorers. Lonzo averaging 15 per game, TJ Leaf averaging almost 17, and they play a very up-tempo, high offense that should be very frightening for USC going into tonight.
Well, they are really dynamic players in their own right, but it takes more than 2 guys to score the explosive number of points that UCLA has put on the board this season. So what else does USC have to look out for? USC has been struggling lately, so what's been going on with them?
Well, with USC, they've been struggling on defense. Now, they played a lot of non-conference teams earlier and played really well, but In the conference, they're playing just simply higher caliber offenses. They've been struggling as such. They have a 16 difference in their scoring margin per game. And I think a big reason because of this is because of forward Benny Boatwright. He's a big man in the middle that kind of clogs up a lot of space on the defensive side, but he's been injured since November. Now, he's practicing recently. He's trying to get back in the swing of things. But I think that truly until he's in the middle of the paint, posing that opposition for our defenses, then maybe USC will have to continue finding ways to improvise without him.
So it seems like all the signs tonight are pointing towards UCLA, but one thing is for sure, if USC can pull out a win tonight, it will turn the Pac-12 upside down. Thank you so much, Aaron.
You're welcome.
The men's basketball team wasn't the only team going against the Bruins. Charlotte Moore has more.
Hopefully our men's basketball team will not have the same fate as several USC teams that squared off this past weekend against UCLA. Starting on the hardwood, the women's basketball team fell to the Bruins 71-67. Senior Courtney Jaco played a solid inside and out game offensively, leading USC with 18 points, while teammates Kristen Simon and Aaliyah Mizek both added double digits. Jaco was upset with losing her final rivalry game, but saw positives with how the team performed.
You just get up for these games. This is Rivalry week, and this is my last one as a Trojan, so it meant a lot to me personally, and I just want to give it all I have. And I think we definitely took a step towards the right direction, and we have to facilitate this kind of play and practice, and hopefully it will translate into the games.
Agreeing with Jaco, head coach Cynthia Cooper-Dyke was proud of her team's effort and believed it was a step in the right direction. USC looks to go that right direction into next week's game against Arizona and Arizona State. USC men's volleyball also didn't have any success against number 2 UCLA as the Trojans fell 3-1. Senior Lucas Yoder had 15 kills to help the Trojans keep each set tight. However, USC could not overcome UCLA Jake Arnett's 20 kills. The Bruins ended almost every chance of the Trojans, taking over with 13 blocks. USC will take on number 10 Stanford tomorrow. As for our men's tennis, luckily for USC, not every team played UCLA. This number 10's men's tennis team won a pair of matches to improve to 3-0. The Trojans played a doubleheader against UC Riverside and UC Irvine Saturday. USC dominated in both matches, sweeping UC 7-0 and UC Irvine 6-1. The Trojans will be back in action this weekend when they host the ITA kickoff weekend. That's all we got for sports around campus. Safe to say, the torch has been lit.
All right, thanks, Charlotte. Graduation for the Trojans is just a few months away, and for the USC football team, they've got to be nervous. This commencement holds a huge weight for the team, with 9 starting players graduating and 3 juniors declaring for the draft. USC's star juniors Juju Smith-Schuster and Adoree Jackson have both declared for the 2017 draft, meaning they won't be back in the fall. While Smith-Schuster and Jackson are arguably the biggest worries for USC, the Trojans should also be concerned about who will fill the massive shoes of offensive guard Damian Mama. While those guys all made their choice to depart USC, here are the players being booted after they graduate in May. 3 vital linemen on both sides of the ball, Zach Banner, Stevie T, and Chad Wheeler, are departing, as well as receiver Darius Rogers and long snapper Zach Smith. Best of luck to the USC juniors and seniors, especially heading into the draft. For more on the team, let's toss it over to Jackson.
I'm here at Ladd Peoples Football Stadium in Mobile, Alabama, home of the Senior Bowl. Zach Banner and Stevie Tui Kolovatu, the 2 USC players at the Senior Bowl, are going to practice on this field all week long before a day of community service on Friday, where they do some volunteer work in the morning and have a meet and greet with local Mobile residents in the afternoon, followed by the actual Senior Bowl game on Saturday. Thousands of NFL team personnel, scouts, media members, and families pour into Mobile for this week, and a local hotel manager I spoke with said she makes nearly half of her yearly revenue just this week for the Senior Bowl. When it comes down to it, this week is all about the players and having their ability to try to impress scouts and improve their draft stock. Now, Zach Banner has turned a lot of heads, in large part due to his enormous frame. At 6'8" and 360 pounds, he's a tremendous run blocker, but is looking to show scouts the consistent ability to pass block on the edge. Now, Stevie T is a lesser-known player because he is a transfer from Utah and he's 25 years old, but he's one of the biggest defensive linemen here and has shown the ability to consistently stop the run game up the middle. Both players are projected in the day 3, rounds 4 to 6 range for the NFL draft, but they both have a chance to make some money here this week. From Mobile, Alabama, for Sports Scene, I'm Jackson Saffon.
Thanks, Jackson. And even though the season may be over for the football team, the news never stops. Let's toss it over to Ben with some social media updates.
Thanks, Rachel. Every year, Twitter is an absolute madhouse during signing week, with fans chiming in from all over the country trying to influence recruits to play for their favorite colleges. To maneuver this social media zoo, here are 4 suggestions to help you convince recruits that your favorite school is the best choice. Number 1, while you certainly aren't helping anything by tweeting at recruits, sending something incredibly off-putting might actually harm the chance of that recruit signing with your school. It's essential to avoid messages to recruits that fall under these 3 big no-no categories: mean, creepy, or just plain weird. Remember, when tweeting, always put the smart in smartphone. Number 2, absolutely at all costs, refrain from tweeting panoramas of team stadiums, kickoff flyovers, or custom homemade mock-ups of a recruit in your favorite team's jersey. Believe it or not, recruits that take official visits to schools generally have a photo shoot there, in which they put on and pose in that school's uniform in real life, and they make in-person visits to the very stadium you are tweeting at them. Number 3, avoid dictionary screenshots of common recruiting terms and definitions. Amazingly, most recruits are actually well-versed in the English language, so providing a definition of the word commitment, for instance, is profoundly unproductive and unlikely to yield a fruitful response. Finally, studies show that the best way to avoid tweeting something stupid at a recruit is to just not tweet anything at all. This is by far the simplest and most effective solution to avoid bombarding a bunch of high schoolers with mindless drivel. Always remember, if you are not a member of a recruit's family, you are not their friend, and you straight up don't know them at all, it's probably safe to assume that they don't want your input during the all very important commitment process.
Thanks, Ben. With the NHL All-Star Game about to happen down the street at the Staples Center, students here at USC got the chance to take a sip out of Lord Stanley's Cup.
That's right, the coveted Stanley Cup was here on campus in front of Tommy Trojan with a visit from special guest Wayne Gretzky.
Oh, man. And Fran, I don't know if you went, but Lynn Swan was actually there too. It was crazy.
You know, I actually didn't get to go. I wish I did. I had a concussion over the weekend. You know, it happens. Oh. Anyway, for more coverage, check out uscannonburgmedia.com and make sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter at SportsSceneUSC. We'll see you next week.